Because all men kind of think of themselves as like low-level superheroes in their own world. I'm not even supposed to be telling you this. But when men are growing up and they're reading about Batman, Spider-Man, Superman, these aren't fantasies. These are options. This is the deep inner secret truth of the male mind. I'll give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Did you ever see a guy out on the highway moving a mattress tied to the roof of the car? Without fail, he's got the arm out the window holding the mattress. This is classic male idiot superhero thinking. This moron believes if the wind catches this huge rectangle at 70 miles an hour, I got it. Don't worry about it. I'm using my arm. I think your socks have a certain kind of courage. A certain kind of ambition, determination. How many times have you done a big laundry? Go to the dryer, take out your socks, count them up. One of them got out. He escaped, took off on his own. What are his chances out there? I don't think they're very good. A lot of times I walk down the street and I'll see a dirty sock just lying there in the street. What happened to him? It's a sock that didn't make it. But he took that risk. That's what I respect. Because socks, think about it, they hate their lives. They do. They're in the shoe. They're in the drawer. They hate it. He waits for the dryer. That's his chance, and he knows it. And he waits. He bides his time. And then you open the dryer door, and he waits by the side. He hopes that you don't see him, then he runs. Or sometimes he grabs onto a sweater. This gives him a little head start. That's how they get away. They've done it. We now have seedless watermelon. Pretty amazing. What are they planting to grow the seedless watermelon, I wonder? The melons aren't humping, are they? They must be planting something. How does this work? And what kind of scientists do this type of work? I read a thing, it was 15 years in development. In the laboratories with, gene splicing or whatever they do there, I don't know. I mean, other scientists working on AIDS, cancer, heart disease, these guys are going, no, I'm going to devote myself to melon. I think that's much more important. Sure, thousands are dying needlessly, but that's got to stop. When you ever try and pick up a wet one off the floor, it's almost impossible. I really think we should devote the money to these studies. On the other end of the spectrum, we have sports like Olympic platform diving, which I find too depressing to watch. It's too critical. It's the judging is, these guys, they do these dives, incredible dives, 8 flips, something, and the judge, if the guy makes a splash at the end of the dive, the judges are like, that was the dive? No, he made a splash. No, that's terrible. No, he's got to learn to slow down before he hits that water if he wants to dive. The splash, look, it got right on my shirt, one of the drops. Do you see that? No, he's just no good at all. And you see, one foot was out of line with the other. I almost vomited. It was a nauseating dive. I can't even watch it anymore. Don't these divers get frustrated, just want to do a cannonball? Wouldn't that be a great moment? Do a cannonball. I mean, when we were a kid, the bigger the splash, the better the dive. That was it, right? You get somebody wet, that's a 10 right there. Good friend Carl Reiner, who has often said to me, you don't give awards to comedians. First of all, comedians don't need awards. Awards are for people that are looking for work. We're not looking for work. If you're any good as a comedian, you got tons of work. We've all got wrinkled suits and smelly shirts from packing and unpacking and schlepping all over the goddamn country, doing 10 million different kinds of gigs. And secondly, and even more important, is your whole career as a comedian is about making fun of pretentious, high-minded, self-congratulatory BS events like this one. The whole feeling in this room of reverence and honoring is the exact opposite of everything I have wanted my life to be about. I really don't want to be up here. I want to be in the back over there, somewhere over there, saying something funny to somebody about what a crock this whole thing is. And I don't want to give you the wrong impression. I don't want you to think that I'm not honored by this, because I am. I feel very, very honored, but it's just that awards are stupid. Every real estate office has some framed 5-diamond President's Award thing by the desk. Every hotel check-in has some gold circle service thing. Every car salesman's a platinum jubilee winner, and it's all a big jerk-off. It is. The hotel sucks, the real estate person is stupid, and the only thing the car salesman is good at is ripping you off. And why? Because awards don't mean a goddamn thing. It's stupid. They're all stupid. All the award shows on TV. I mean, honestly, it is beyond me that we feel the need to set aside a night to give out these jag-off bowling trophies 6 times a year, so all these people can pat each other on the back about how much money they're making, boring the piss out of half the world. And if I hadn't already won all these awards, I would not be talking like this.
This has nothing to do with making it, or... Did you ever stop and compare your life and go, okay, I'm 29, my friends are all married, they're all having kids, they all have houses, they have some sort of sense of normality? I agree, but then what do you tell your parents? What do you how do you deal with that? They're social
your parents, yes.
They're like, how do you...
This is your parents. Let me tell you a story about... This is my favorite story about show business. Glenn Miller's orchestra, they were doing some gig somewhere. They can't land where they're supposed to land because it's a winter, snowy night, so they have to land like in this field and walk to the gig. And they're dressed in their suits, they're ready to play, they're carrying their instruments, so they're walking through the snow. And it's wet and it's slushy, and in the distance they see this little house. And there's lights on the inside, and there's a curl of smoke coming out of the chimney. And they go up to the house, and they look in the window, and in the window they see this family. There's a guy and his wife, and she's beautiful, and there's 2 kids, and they're all sitting around the table, and they're smiling, they're laughing, and they're eating, and there's a fire in the fireplace, and these guys are standing there in their suits, and they're wet, and they're shivering, and they're holding their instruments, and they're watching this incredible Norman Rockwell scene, and one guy turns to the other guy and goes, how do people live like that? That's what it's about. I remember I was engaged one time.
Yeah, I remember when you were engaged.
Yes, but I didn't get married. But
no,
you know,
it cost me a ton of dough.
Yeah. Well, we had
no,
planned.
This is unbelievable. He said, I had the job. It was the biggest job I'd ever had up to that point. I'll tell you how much it was. It was $8,000. I was supposed to go to Atlanta and do this concert
for something. Job,
it is the biggest job. It's $8,000. I said, this is unbelievable. It's in 3 months. It's on this date. I called you to tell you about it. He calls me back 2 weeks. I'm getting married. I met this girl. What day? May 8th. I said, you idiot. That's the date of my date.
Was that really the date?
Yes, that was the date, you idiot, because you owe me $8,000. So I said, Jerry, can't you move it? Can't you move it? He goes, no, I can't move it. I said, do you love this girl? Are you really going to?
Well, I remember I was engaged one time.
Yeah, I remember when you were engaged.
Yes, but I didn't get married. But
no, it cost me a ton of dough.
Yeah. Well, we had planned.
This is unbelievable. He said, I had the job. It was the biggest job I'd ever had up to that point. I'll tell you how much it was. It was $8,000. I was supposed to go to Atlanta and do this concert for something.
Job,
it is the biggest job. It's $8,000. I said, this is unbelievable. It's in 3 months. It's on this date. I called you to tell you about it. He calls me back 2 weeks. I'm getting married. I met this girl. What day? May 8th. I said, you idiot. That's the date of my date.
Was that really the date?
Yes, that was the date, you idiot, because you owe me $8,000. So I said, Jerry, can't you move it? Can't you move it? He goes, no, I can't move it. I said, do you love this girl? Are you really going to get married? Yes. You sure? Yes, I'm getting married. Are you sure? All right, I call the guy up. I can't do it. He goes, well, I can't move the date. I said, all right, give it to somebody else. I got to go to Seinfeld's wedding. 3 days before the wedding. Jay, the wedding's off.
There was never any girl, ever. I just didn't want him to make that much money. Grape nuts. I've bought grape nuts. I've tried grape nuts. I open the box, I put it in the bowl. No grapes, no nuts. What's the story? Can you call things anything you want now? Sell a quart of milk, just print shoes on the side of it. People pour it on their socks. Hey, this isn't shoes. I saw a thing, actually, a study that said speaking in front of a crowd is considered the #1 fear of the average person. I found that amazing. Number 2 was death. Death is number 2? This means to the average person, if you have to be at a funeral, you would rather be in the casket than doing the eulogy. People buy a lot of strange things, you know. They look at women just... The women's bathroom, to me, is one of the most frightening rooms. The amount of equipment... It's an arsenal. It's an arsenal of equipment. The hot curlers on that little launching pad there. What do you just fire them right off of that thing? They look like cruise curlers to me. I guess once you got the curlers in your hair, you can cook potatoes on those things that stick up, and you've really maximized your time. But the main thing I don't understand in the women's bathroom is the cotton balls. They've got so many cotton balls, I don't need any cotton balls. I've never had one, I've never bought one, I've never even been in a situation where I thought I could use a cotton ball right now. And yet women need thousands of them every single day. They buy these bags of them like peat moss bags. Have you ever seen these giant... They go through them in a matter of minutes. They're all done with them. I had 4 cotton balls. My girlfriend left 4 cotton balls over my house one time because she knew I wouldn't know what to do with them. And I didn't. I had to rack my brains to get rid of these little cotton balls I would throw in on the kitchen floor like a little tumbleweed. You know, I thought maybe cockroaches would walk by it, figure it's a dead town, and move on. Or I'd go to the doctor. If I knew he was going to give me a shot, I'd bring that little extra cotton ball with me. Because they like to put that little alcohol on your arm with the cotton ball. And he would go for his cotton ball, and I'd go, maybe you could use this one. It's in pretty good shape. And he would use it sometimes, take a penny off on my bill for not using one of his cotton balls. But then he would give me a prescription. I take that home, open up the bottle, there's another cotton ball in there.